I want everybody to do is to take this paper airplane, and I would just want you to just throw it. That's all I want you to do first.
That was my specialty in class, so I should be all right with that.
Yeah, okay. So let's get everybody just to throw it one time. Anybody's gonna be puppeteering, just pick it up and
You don't have the thing underneath there in the wing.
It doesn't matter. I just need you to take it and just throw it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I want you to just throw it. There you go. Okay.
I'm so soon.
Go ahead and just throw it.
It's nice.
And go ahead. Great. Now, everybody here is right-handed. So what I want you to do now is take the plane and throw it with your left hand. I know. That's why I want you to do that. I want everybody to throw it with their left hand. Okay?
Can y'all not look?
Like the rest.
Now, the reason I had you do that is because everybody was really easy to grab it and throw it with their right hand. No thinking involved whatsoever. You pick it up and you just throw it. But when you pick it up and you throw it with your left hand, you have to stop and think about it a little bit. You have to think, what is it that I need to do? If I'm throwing with my right hand, I don't think about the fact that I've got my elbow up, I pull the plane back, I step forward with my left foot, my balance shifts, and I throw it. When you do it with your left hand,
Kind of just stay still.
yeah, you don't use your whole body. You have to kind of think about what you're doing. Now, if you were going to go through a much more elaborate throw, you'll think, okay, now I've got to put my right foot forward. I have to bring my arm back and keep my elbow up, and then I have to twist my hips into the throw first, then follow with my elbow, and finally my hand in order to get it to go. You have to be very conscious of how you move. And it's the same thing when you're working with a puppet. You have to be very conscious of how a puppet moves. Why don't you hand me the puppet right there? Yeah. Now, when you're doing puppetry, you kind of forget how you move. And so a lot of people, when they move a puppet, and you're going to move from one place to another, you're just like, okay, he's going to walk across the street, so we're just going to walk him across the street. Walk him back. No problem. But he's not walking. The puppeteer is walking, but the puppet isn't walking. The puppet is gliding. Now, if we're doing something that involves roller skates or skating or some sort of a moving walkway, then that's no problem because you can just kind of move back and forth on the walkway. No big deal. But that's not walking. We want to have a little bit of movement with him. There's a little bit of up and down. As we step, we bend our knees, stretch out, we bend up, we're going up and down a little bit. We're not just going up and down. We're balancing our weight with the other side of our body. So if I've got my right foot out, my left arm comes forward for balance. You don't think about these little things because you're just so used to doing them. When you're walking, you simply walk with that balance going. With a puppet, in order to make him look like he's walking, we have a little up and down and back and forth motion going at the same time to make him look like he's really walking down the street. Otherwise, he looks like he's just kind of gliding along. And that loses the illusion that he has legs. Now, most of our puppets, when we're going to be using them, we're not going to shoot from the waist down. So in order to make it look like he's got legs, we've got to give him that walking motion. You notice I'm also keeping his hand up a little bit as I'm going along. I can do it with two hands or one hand. And so that's the kind of thing that we're going to have to work on as we're working with our puppets. And you really can see it a lot better when we do it behind a curtain. Now we don't see his feet here, so if he's walking along like this, it looks kind of strange to see him just kind of gliding along. But if I give him that little walking motion, he starts to come alive. You can really see the difference then, can't you?
Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate that. We're also going to work on keeping the focus of the puppet. It's important that we know that his eyes are looking where he needs to. So if I want him to look at the camera, I have to make sure where his head is pointed. I'm not going to be looking at the camera because I don't need to look at the camera. I need to look at my puppet so that he's looking at the camera. And I have to know where his eyes are. If I have to bend his head down a little bit more so he has a little bit more eye contact, then I'm going to have to bring my wrist down a little bit more. One of the things I want to make sure I don't do is, this is probably the most comfortable way to hold him.
Yeah, because your wrist start hurting. Can you get, what is it called when you tight?
The carpal tunnel?
Yeah, can you get carpal tunnel from that?
Yeah, you can, if you're not careful.
Because when I was at home, like, practicing with Miles a little bit.
Good.
My wrist was hurting, and it hurt bad.
Well, remember what I told you before about puppetry's not for wimps.
The ball. Oh, the ball. Oh, jeez. You guys can come sit.
Nah, it's cool, it's cool.
You guys can sit here and we can maybe do like that.
So, also want to make sure that when our puppet's moving and he stops and he's going to take a seat, we don't do one of these. I mean, if he just lowers himself down, we don't do that when we sit down. We don't just go straight down. We have to go, yeah.
I kind of do. That's how I broke the chair.
By going straight down?
Yeah, I just plopped in the chair. I need new furniture because of it.
But you don't. Even you don't do that. Because the chair isn't right underneath you. You have to go back into the chair. You may fall back into the chair,
Right.
but you can't just go